My name's Aaron. Welcome back to my channel. How are you? I am fantastic and I'm doing really well. And today I'm reviewing African Rose Eau de Parfum. This is expensive. I'm going to put it out there. My goodness. This is £440 for 75ml. Better blow my head off my shoulders. I better have a factory orgasm for this sort of thing. That's what I'm going to say about that. I just get really nervous at this sort of price. I bought this on the name. Rose fragrances are my most favorite of all, and I really want this to blow my head off the shoulders. I don't care about packaging. I kind of do and I don't. For that price, I kind of want to be transported somewhere. And I know in the past when the name hasn't matched, it's been incredibly disappointing. So I want to feel it. Intense Savannah. Okay, this has got a lot to live up to, these names. When African leather, veiled in rose, an amazing interlude for the journey of reviewed pleasure. MEMO Paris journeys are not always long. During brief ordinary stopovers, a fragrance can be dreamed up for a limited edition. I don't get this at all. It's kind of like putting me off a little bit. So the notes are all of bergamot, all of saffron, all of cumin, all of patchouli. Oh my goodness. Oud de cord, essence of vetiver, and musk. Lots of oils off. I'm going through what's going through my head so you can sort of, go through it together. This is going to be a citrus, saffron, spicy with the cumin, dark and rich with the patchouli. I've just noticed it hasn't got oil of rose. It's got no rose in the notes. How strange. Rose generally is citronellal, geraniol, linalool, eugenol, isoeugenol. I think isoeugenol is restricted. I know when I had to send my fragrance off for assessment, I had to get all the allergens and they were funny about the isoeugenol, Venisol sometimes. So this has got limonene, citronellal, hydroxycitronellal, geraniol, hexylcinnamol, coumarin, linalool, citrate, eugenol, benzyl alcohol, and fernosol. Okay, but what's put me off is in the beginning it said have a look. It's got no oil of rose or rose absolute or that. It's leaving that out, but it's got African rose in, which is so strange to me. And in none of the pictures it's got rose either. Anyway, do we have a bowls of African rose? I was babbling for ages then. Now we engage with the higher self. Let's get testing. Okay, let's have a look at the atomizer. So remember, the atomizer's been a bit of a disappointment. £440. It's actually more, I think, than at my top end with all that oud and all that craziness in. So craziness, I mean like jasmine and jasmine sambac and rose absolute and oud, all that. They're really expensive raw materials. So this needs to wow me. I really want it to be like super fantastic. I really want for that amount of money. I really want to love it because I love rose so much. It's very nice. So rose accords and rose. Rose is really restricted. First off, you have to be careful how you work with it. That's the first thing. When you set your work forward, I used to do safety assessments. You would work out the LD50 and NAL to work up the margin of safety, and that's worked out by how much concentration you put on how often and what the surface area is. So sometimes a little dot with a lot of rose can be less allergens in than spraying, because you're getting more surface area. That makes sense to you. Kind of really love this. So this, what's sticking out for me, is a raw material called DMBCA, and DMBCA can be used in cherry accords, rose accords. It sort of smells of a little bit cherry-like, a little bit plum-like, a little bit sort of rose-like, but not rose in a Damascene way, but sort of in a Damascene way. You have to smell the two to sort of, it's sort of in that ballpark. Also, like Damascene sort of can smell, depending on the configuration of where it is, alpha, beta, can smell of apples or plum. So it's based on isosuper, and you can smell the isosuper because this is wood, velvety, ethylene brassylate, and other musks, probably something to smooth it. And smoothing musks are things like muscone, muscanone, exaltone. Those can sort of smooth out a formula. And exaltone is, think, feminist raw material, depending on the supplier, beautifully sort of smoothing and smells luxurious. And when you combination can give you sort of a luxurious sort of finish with it. Obviously, within rose, you can have phenyl ether alcohol, phenoxanol, because how you're pronouncing it, the MBCA, citronellal, linalool, those sort of things give you liveliness. Too much linalool and formulas can make things fly off, actually. You need to get those sort of formulas right. The sweetness with the coumarin and Damascene molecules. So this has the DMBCA and Damascene molecules giving the sort of like smooth rose finish. Vetiver, cedar, patchouli. And this is sort of saying what is the thing. It smells like a really beautiful velvet rose. Smells very velvety, rich, lively, giving you that sort of violet leaf to it as well. Slightly plum, slightly rose. Onto my final thoughts. This is £440 for 75 mils. I kind of sort of think about rose-based formulas. I think this smells eloquent. It's got the powderiness to it is sort of slightly throwing me off a little bit, if I'm honest with you. It's kind of like a little bit powdery, but it smells very elegant, smooth, soft, bright. But it's kind of smells, in my opinion, of course, smells a little bit more traditional. It smells like that sort of like powdery, baby powdery sort of finish to it. It's sort of throwing me off a little bit. It's kind of not where I would have taken like African rose. It's kind of not where I would have taken it. And I would have taken it into smooth, soft, bright sort of area. More sort of aroma chemicals in it, more sort of brightness to it. Softness and sensuality. I love rose. It's my most favorite thing. So when I go into a rose formula, it's kind of different. And when I go into reviewing a fragrance, the rose fragrances, I'm going to be sort of a bit more harder sort of with them. I love some of it. I'm going to be honest with you. I love the way it's constructed. I love the MBCA, love the Damascus, love the very professionally done. You know, it's just been really well done. But somebody who loves rose, it's kind of not giving me the ooh la la sensation. It's kind of not taking me there. It's not giving me that sort of thing with it. But I keep smelling it. So I think this is definitely unisex. Unisex is slightly more feminine leading because the powderiness, I would have taken that powderiness, that sort of violet powderiness out of it. And I would have left it sort of more dark, full throttle, patchouli, vetiver, sort of darken it, rich up, sandalwood. I would have done more of that with it, more woody. African rose makes me think of wildness. I would have done something more wild, darker, richer, redder. To me, this is like great, but the fluffiness and the baby powderiness is kind of a bit off-putting. If you love sort of powdery rose, some people love sort of like powderiness. And the powderiness is making me feel that this feels a bit more traditional rather than sort of, you know, up-to-date and exciting. And marks an 8 out of 10. I think technical ability is great. It smells like a rose. The price is sort of a bit out there for me. You know, in my opinion, $440. But the projection is great. The sillage of this is great. The longevity is great of it as well. I think this is an autumn-winter scent. In spring, definitely not summer. I think it would be a bit too intense. I'd have handled this differently, as I said. So I would have improved on it by taking out the fluffiness, the sort of the baby powderiness, and I would have made it dark, rich red, sweeten it through Lang Lang. Actually, I would have sweetened it a little bit more. I'd have gone in a bit of a different direction. The name is exciting, fragrance not so much. I think it's a bit more traditional, which is a bit sad. Hope you love that review. Thumbs up and subscribe for fascinating, interesting content, lots of moving hands and lots of fragrance views. Hope you're staying safe and well. See you soon.